I came to school at UL. It was USL at the time. I am from a little town called Laurelville, which is in Iberian Parish. I finished school in '91 in architecture. They had a 5-year degree, but it was undergrad, bachelor's. It's not like a master's at the time.
Okay.
So and there was no IB program at all, right? It was architecture and interiors. So my degree is in architecture, bachelor's.
Okay, nice. And so then what do you do now?
I'm a designer. I tend to not distinguish between disciplines so much. I participate in a bunch of disciplines. I consider myself a designer first and foremost. I get involved in architecture, residential stuff. I get involved in what would be considered public art, which generally falls into, at least for us, 2 categories. One would be memorials and the other would be educational type installations, usually in the public realm. And thirdly, I do a lot of like environmental graphics, which people think of as signage, but it falls into architectural graphics as well as entertainment graphics, and that would be like Disney, Universal, those kind of people.
Okay.
And get involved with furniture design and other things, but those 3, environmental graphics, architecture, public art, those are the 3 disciplines I'm most involved in.
Do you work solo or with a team?
In the public art world, I have a business partner out of Chicago, and we do that type of work together. With the architectural stuff, that's almost solely on my own, right? I operate on my own, doing that through my own company. And when it comes to environmental graphics or entertainment graphics, that's through a lot of designers out of Los Angeles. There's a bunch. We're working for Universal and Disney, but I'm working for companies, Kaminsky, Kaneko Design, Selwyn Perkins I work for, Mark Romero Larson, a bunch of people, tons of people I know.
That's incredible.
I work for a bunch of people, and still do. I use the money that I make from more commercial work to pay for things that to me are important to do and subsidize projects.
So what led you from graduating in architecture to what you do now? Like, what is that?
Well, my architectural thesis was based in language. It was based in basically a place for writing.
Okay.
But the building itself was meant to somehow complement the act of writing, so that the building and the architectural language was meant to be semantic in some way, so that you weren't just writing a book, you would make an object that also contained that information, and the making of that object should somehow reinforce the information that was in it. Okay. The actual way it was made as a language. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that was basically my interest at the end of my architectural education. And when I went to California, the body of work that I started doing with my business partner in Chicago very much picked up on that, because it was text-based, it was architecture-based, and it was sculpture-based. When you think of memorials, that's basically what they are. They're very architectural.
Yeah.
There's some written information in them, and it's I guess sculpturally spatial. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like that world was a continuation of my college education. The graphics, even like the environmental graphics stuff, was as well.
Was graphics self-taught? Was that part of it?
No, I went to work for fabricators when I finished. I didn't take a traditional route,
Okay.
right? Like I went into, when I finished school here, there were not many jobs, and I was not going to work in the oil field after spending 5 years, getting that education. So I moved out to Los Angeles because I basically knew someone there. I didn't know anyone in any other major city in the country. Cajun boy, right? So I went somewhere where I knew somebody. It was a former professor of mine, Bill Merrifield. That kind of
And you were just like, I'm up for anything, like.
I just wanted to be in the city, which was a good decision, right? Because it changed my view of the world. I wouldn't have got that if I'd stayed here, I don't think.
How long were you there for?
13 years. Major events, the riots, and art literature, all these major things.
What made you leave?
It's just time. You know, I was married at the time, and we just decided that when we come back home, this is home. There's no getting away from it. You can't kind of disassociate yourself from that.
Yeah.
There's no replacing it. There's something just fundamental about where you grew up that no matter where else you live, that you can't recreate that. So coming back here was just like coming home.
So now, do you work mostly from home, or do you fly out a lot?
I haven't been flying lately. I'll fly if I have to, but I don't really. I have 4 projects going on right now in 4 other states. I'm going to have to travel. One of them's coming up in Indiana that I'm going to have to install probably. So I'm just like dreading all the traveling. I don't like to fly, so you know, but I don't go to LA as much as you would think. Like for all the work that I do out of LA, you know, I don't really travel very much. Maybe once every 5 or once every 10 years. And my business partner and I, he's in Chicago. We don't really see each other face to face that much. The last time I saw him, we were in Indiana recently because of that project, and that's the first time we'd probably seen each other in maybe like 5 years.
Wow.
We work over the internet. We have a means of working through sketching. We have our own roles. Each of us has a role in the project, and we kind of after conceptual design, we basically subdivide the roles. He does his thing, and I do my thing.
Are y'all both designers?
Yes, I mean I would say yes. I think he probably sees himself more along the lines of an artist. Right? And I'm speaking for him now, but my sense is that he would pitch himself as an artist, where I would pitch myself as a designer.
What do you think is the difference between the two then?
That's a good question.
Do you think it's just y'all's backgrounds of how you were, your
No,
education?
because we have a similar background. He went to architecture school, but then I think he went into fine art, right? And I think maybe the background difference was more just the interest, you know? Like my interest has always been in fabrication and making things as a language. You know, I've always just looked at that to build something as a means of communicating some idea, right? But personally, how I see that, whereas he understands that, but I don't necessarily think that that's his means of communication. Right? He deals with text a lot. When we have work that involves text, and almost all the work involves text, he's responsible for content. He's choosing the typography. He's laying it out, and he kind of, it's hard to describe, but he will manipulate the type to be its own language. It's not just about choosing a type style, it's about how am I going to manipulate this to express something. It's along the lines of graphic design.
Yeah.
But his interests were, and my interests too a little bit, but not as much as him, were performance art and projection information. Like he a little bit separately from me, he had gotten involved in doing these projections of text onto large structures with another performance artist in Los Angeles. This woman was doing very site-specific projects in LA, so he would go into the performance and project information onto different sites. One was like the LA River bridges, and there was a old jail downtown, and like that. There was an abandoned subway below Los Angeles. They did performance pieces in there, so he would project this information. Does that make no sense?
Yeah.
His media was slightly different,
Yeah.
right? Like his media was typography, projected light and information, whereas mine was more construction and fabrication. You know, so like we fit well together when we do projects because like I'm taking over the construction role, the fabrication role. He's taking over maybe more conventional language, written information, and we're kind of figuring out how to merge those two worlds.
That's interesting how your thesis is like very much connected to the work you do now.
It is. I don't know how much of that's just coincidence. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. You know.
Well, you kind of like put your interests out into the world.
I think so. I think that's probably more what it was.
How did you connect with him originally?
I was working for a fabricator in Los Angeles, and we would build all kinds of projects, whether it was for Disney and more entertainment stuff, or for major architects or artists. Right? We build stuff for everybody. There's probably not a project in LA that I didn't really work on. even to this day, I'm still working on major projects in one way or another. You know, I'm not the lead designer, but I'm somehow involved in doing those projects. Well, usually on the fabrication. But I met him through, I was working for a fabricator, and this was the first public project that he did in Los Angeles. And what we received from him was more like hand sketches, right? And there wasn't a lot of details. It was kind of left up to the fabricator, up to us, how this would be made. So I saw a need for him having someone that would be able to take his conceptual ideas and translate it into more of a concrete design.
Tangible.
Exactly. How do we make this? You know, what are the materials and stuff? So I told our salesman to talk to him and tell him that if he needed some assistance with anything, that I would call him. Started moonlighting at night working on all these projects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So that's how he and I formed a partnership. That's been 25, 30 years. I think, if I got the numbers right. Since basically about 96 or 97. 20 years. Did I have that right?
About that.
Yeah, my brain's kind of like mush. 20, I think. He and I, not all the other work, but just the public art work, we probably have 20 or 30 built projects across the country.
Wow.
And we probably have about 100 to 200 unbuilt projects. We've designed that many projects, and that's only one design.
Who are your clients typically?
Generally cities, although not always. We built projects, a lot of projects. Whenever we were both in LA, we did a bunch of projects for either the city of LA Cultural Affairs Department or city of Long Beach or Riverside or some general area within the Los Angeles sprawl. But then we began doing work outside of there. We were doing work for Phoenix Arts Commission, some stuff in Seattle. He moved to Iowa, not to Iowa, to Chicago. He's from Iowa. He moved to Chicago, so we started doing a lot of projects there because he was there. And then it just got to the point where we didn't really need to be anywhere. We were getting projects all over. Projects in Florida, Wisconsin, Indiana, going on, Oklahoma City, Southern Illinois. I have 2 in Florida coming up.
How has your design process changed since like more digital design software has come out?
You know, I don't know. We generally like rendering and this kind of modeling stuff is not my strong point. After I went to school, right? And I'm still a very hands-on person. And he's older than I am, so he's even less technology savvy when it comes to rendering and modeling and things like that. So we basically hire people, you know, hire many people from the school just to do the rendering, to look at, you know. And generally, I mean, when it comes to our attitude, at least my attitude is when it comes to doing design work, it's almost pro bono. But these other things that are supplemental to take and get, you know, okay, encourage people to get involved in this stuff. So.
Yeah. That's cool. I guess it's good work for students too, and like some graduates to kind of get experience.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, these are, and I think all projects are real projects, but these have the potential to be high potential in some ways.
Yeah. What are y'all's aspirations for the future of y'all's partnership?
He and I have no idea. I mean, you know, we've done so many projects, and it's not like we started out to do this many projects. We didn't really start out to have a body of work. It just kind of happened. You know, it's like we get one project, and then there's another project, and another project, and then before you know it, there's like 20 and 30 built projects. You know, so I don't know. I would hope that. I mean, I'm always pushing, I guess, to make it a little more architectural. You know, you may be pushing to make it a little more graphic. You know, that's his. So I honestly, I have no idea. I would hope that, and we have tried this in the past, but I would hope that we can figure out a way to use more technology as far as not the design development, but technology in the sense of LED systems and a means of actually putting information out there. Does that make sense? You know, I mean, like they make products like they make LEDs embedded in glass, right?
Wow.
Like there's pieces of glass where you can flip a switch and it'll kind of go black because the LEDs, it's not the LEDs, maybe it's an LCD, I forget. Regardless,
Sure.
you can put information actually into it. You can make it say something and turn it on and off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like we want to use that technology, just ridiculously expensive. I mean, we've used like LED boards and all that stuff, but yeah,
So do you hire outside contractors to kind of figure all that out?
consultants for different things, and we always have consultants for different aspects of the work. There's things that are just kind of like techish kind of consultants, depending on the project. But then there's consultants like, oh, we need a historian, or we need a sociologist, or we'll hire those people. Just depends on what the project is.
Are there any projects going on right now that you want to talk about that you can?
Yeah. What's my favorite one? Talk about those. Not all projects are my favorites. You have personal favorites.
Or I guess any of your past favorite projects too.
Well, ironically, and we have literally designed at least 100, maybe closer to 200. We didn't count them. Some of them are lost, right? When we were doing early Illustrator and things on early Macs and early computer stuff, or even by hand, gone. I hope he kept some of that stuff, but I kind of doubt it. I think that the media has just been lost, right? Ironically, though, we had a conversation about he and I had a conversation about what our favorite projects were. The things, and it was the same project. Out of all these projects, it was the same project, and it was unbuilt. We had designed a Key West, a memorial, an AIDS memorial in Key West, Florida.
Wow.
That was never built, and both of us thought that was probably the best design.
Why was it y'all's favorite?
It's hard to explain without showing you what the project was. It was what it was on the beach, and it was basically a half circle of concrete buried into the sand, right? And it was at the water's edge. It was basically within the point at which the tide would come and go. So part of the time it was in the water, and part of the time it wasn't in the water. This kind of, it's like, think of a 20-foot, maybe a 2/3 circle that tapers. The walls of it taper, and that surface itself is perforated. That would allow, if it would fill up with water, it would allow water to flow back out, right? So what we looked at doing was taking all those holes in the perforation and allowing them to be capped in some form with maybe like metal disc or things that would rust, and that those things were meant to symbolize progress in fighting AIDS, whether it was through people dying somehow or some other thing, that we were going to fill up those holes, with this set of information that was meant to symbolize progress in some way. So as time went on and this thing would keep filling up with water, eventually it would start containing water. It's like containing a disease, right? So we have storms, hurricanes, and things like that blowing sand into it, become level. It just had like this engagement with the water and the ocean as being, the ocean wasn't seen as a very nice thing. It was seen as a forceful kind of storm-related thing that we were trying to capture and tame in the same way that, at the time, in the 90s, AIDS was, you would die from it. Now it's not so deadly, right? But at that time, it was a serious issue. It had a strong idea, and it was very well thought out. And we have projects that aren't that well thought out. Maybe it's something about it not being built that it never ran up against reality, and God,
There's so much perfect
we
idea.
can kind of idealize it a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the downside of building something, is like you put something out there, you have to build it, and eventually you don't really lose something all the time, but you kind of, when you go up against building something, it becomes very real, and it loses the kind of mystical quality about it. So that was both. We both thought that was the best project we've designed.
Do you have any pictures or anything we can include in the video?
Of that project? No, that's one of the ones I think that's been lost.
Oh no.
It's only in our minds at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think he has any. I know I don't.